Hey everybody, welcome back. If you haven't heard or already seen it, the new Beauty and the Beast movie is out, starring Emma Watson as Belle. And my great friend Cindy got me tickets, or got us tickets for my birthday to go see it, and we got to see it last weekend. Absolutely loved it. I won't give away any spoilers, but I will say that it's a little bit different than the original cartoon. They kind of make it a little bit more like historically accurate and kind of fill in some story plot holes that there had been. So I absolutely recommend it. It was a lot of fun. And so this week I am recreating a Belle look. It's kind of the grown-up version with a little bit more of a smoky eye and a red lip, but looks actually pretty similar if you go back and check your cover of your probably VCR of the original Beauty and the Beast movie that came out in, I believe, 1991, the cartoon at least. So if you want to recreate this kind of grown-up Belle makeup look, keep watching. Okay, so we're going to start with the eyes. I've already primed my eyelids with the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion. I'm then going to go in and we're going to today be using the Maybelline New York Eye Studio palette in number 5, Gimme Gold. It's some really pretty shimmery like gold, like more orangey gold and more yellowy gold colors that we're going to be using. So we're very first going to go in with a Sigma E70 medium angled shading brush and kind of go in with the more orangey gold color, and we're just going to take that angled brush and put that into the crease. And these colors are actually like really pigmented for a drugstore eyeshadow palette, so you can see it's already coming up pretty strong on the eye. So you just want to put that product in and then make sure you're really blending it out. So this is kind of going to be like our base gold, and that's already, like, as you can see, so crazy. That gold is so dark. I probably actually already put like way too much on to begin with, so we're just going to kind of start diffusing that out, and we're going to put a little bit of white along the brow bone, but you can pretty much work this orangey color from the crease up into just right underneath the brow bone, or right underneath the eyebrow. We're then going to take a little bit of the very darkest brown color here, and I'm going to stick with that medium angled shading brush, and I'm just going to pop that into the corner of the eye and kind of start working that into the crease. So it's going to go a little bit onto the mobile lid, but mostly stay towards the crease, just on the outer half of the eye, really just the outer corner here. And obviously, if this is a look that you're going to wear, you know, to work or something, obviously you would way dial it down. This is just kind of a fun look for maybe for going out, or if you're headed to see the movie for the first time. I won't give any spoilers away, but it was really awesome. But then again, I have always been a childhood fan of Beauty and the Beast, so I'm a little bit biased. But especially if you're a fan of like pretty much any Disney princesses, I think you'll really enjoy it. I'm going to go in with the Sigma E55 eye shading brush and go with the very lightest gold, more of the yellowy gold, and we're going to pack that onto the lid. So I'm just going to really load up a lot of product on my brush, and I'm just going to press it just onto just the mobile lid. And that's going to really give us a really nice bright gold just right over the lid. And you can put several layers on to really build it up. Okay, so we're not going to blend the actual mobile lid, but we are going to blend where the lighter gold color meets the orangey gold color in the crease. So we're just going to kind of clean off and take that medium angled shading brush, and I'm just going to go back in and just gently blend just right where the very top of that lightest gold meets that darker color. And I am actually going to take a Sigma E40 tapered blending brush and just to blend the very top out as well, just to make sure there's no harsh edges. We're then going to go in with the lightest white shade. Ooh, make sure you can see that there. I'm going to take a Sigma E30 pencil brush, or just any very small fine brush, and I'm going to just take a little bit of that white to highlight the brow bone, so just right underneath the eyebrow, even though we haven't gone in and done our brows yet. And then also in the inner corner. All right, and that, as you can see, really brightens up the eye there. I'm then going to actually take the same pencil brush, and we're actually going to go in and blend a little bit of that color underneath the eye, just to make it more of like a fun, smoky. This is more of a modern Belle look, so this is a little bit more adult. So we're going to go in with that lighter yellowy gold shade, and we're just going to take that right underneath. I'm then going to go back in with that more of the orangey gold color and just take that with my pencil brush just on the outside, the outer quarter of the eye. And just kind of diffuse that into the top of the... Okay. We'll go back in and clean that up in a little bit, but first we're going to take the Modello Company eye definer. It's calling itself a crayon liner. I find that it's more just like basically like a regular pencil liner. It's a little hard to get it actually on the eye, but once it's on, it's really easy to buff out. So I'm actually going to take my mirror a little closer. The reason I went with a crayon or, you know, just a pencil instead of a liquid liner is just because I think that, you know, even though it's a cartoon, so, you know, the makeup is what it is, but it's not quite like a super defined. It definitely is like a gentle brown smoky eye, and it's not like really harsh. Like, for example, like you see in other ones like Jasmine, for example, is very defined, you know, eyeliner, very dramatic black, very precise lines. That you'd want more of a liquid liner if we were going to do like a recreation of that. Whereas this is a little bit softer, so a pencil makes a little bit more sense. Alright, so now going back into the skin, basically the most important thing about the skin is that it looks just really flawless and bright. Obviously we're not going to do any sort of heavy contouring because that's not kind of the look that the princess had. It was very like natural looking, but the skin was really flawless. So I'm going to go in with a Cover FX Calming Primer, which I've actually never used, but I'm going to use a Cover FX foundation, so I figured it might make sense to use the partner product. I'm just going to kind of work that in over the skin. This feels almost more like a lotion on the skin. It's a little more dewy, so I usually like to use something that's going to be really mattifying so that the foundation kind of stays, since it doesn't really set matte like say like an Estee Lauder Double Wear. It kind of stays very dewy. So okay, we're going to actually go in now. I am color P40. We're going to go in with the Total Cream Cover Foundation, which is the cream product, and since it is so thick, I'm just going to actually press it across the skin and let it kind of warm up to my skin a little bit. And I'm putting this on with just a flat foundation brush. But really, this foundation probably would not work as well with a beauty blender. I would stick with more of a liquid, or so I would stick with probably more of a brush here. And as I said, we're not going to be contouring at all, so we're just going to be doing foundation and highlight. So now that's kind of warming up on the skin. Let me see, I'm just going to kind of work this across. And again, because it's such full coverage, you really want to work that kind of into the hairline and down the neck and on the ears as well. Even though it sometimes feels kind of silly. But when you have such a full coverage, you want to make sure that it really blends with the rest of your skin. While we were talking about all of this, definitely comment below and let me know what your favorite Disney princess is when you were growing up or now. I definitely love to hear everybody's. I think like for a lot of girls when they were growing up, it's kind of whatever princess they looked like. And then sometimes, you know, as you get older, you kind of have maybe affinity for one or the other. We're going to go in with the Revlon Photo Ready Concealer. I'm just going to work that in a like upside down triangle under the eyes. We are just going to be careful since we did put some color underneath. We're not going to be obviously pushing that right up to the lash line. So just leave a little bit of room. You do want to put like a generous amount though under the eye, since this is a little bit more of a sheer formula. I know you're probably gasping. I can't believe she's not using the Bye Bye Under Eye, since that's like my everyday one that I always use. But for this look, I didn't want it to be like cakey at all, and like too just like too fake under the eyes. I kind of want to still be able to see a little bit of skin underneath. Alright, so I'm just going to bring that with just a small concealer brush. Just bring that right under the eye so you can kind of clean up those edges a little bit. So, I mean, if you want a really, really bold look, you can obviously leave more shadow under the eye, and if you want it to be a little bit less, you can go a little bit closer to the bottom lash line. So once that's worked in, and you can even work that in with a damp beauty blender if you prefer, we're going to just go in and set underneath the eyes and where we just highlighted before we go in and do anything else. And I just got Laura Mercier setting powder all over me. Ah! Oh my goodness, such a mess today. Good thing I haven't vacuumed the carpet yet. And then just take a larger foundation brush and just work that in over the areas that we highlighted. And really pressing that into the skin. And then just whatever you have left over on your brush, you can kind of go over the rest of the parts of the skin as well, just to keep that foundation in place. Then let's go in and just do a little bit of contour to add some color back in the face, because we're kind of looking like all one color right now. We're just going to go in with the bronzer, the Bahama Mama. And I'm going to take a large tapered blending brush and just work that in where we would usually contour. This is just going to be a little bit softer than going in with the cream. Okay, and let's just blend that out with that same brush that we used to set our Laura Mercier. And again, we want to keep this very soft since the focus is on the skin just being flawless and bright. So make sure it's really blended out. And again, that powder, as you can see, is just so much softer than going in with a cream. But, you know, when you want really nice chiseled cheekbones or you want a really professional look, that's great. But today we're just looking for the more flawless Belle look. Okay, let's go with some blush. I have the Pacifica Natural Minerals Wildrose, and it's actually vegan and cruelty-free. And it's just like kind of a pretty, I guess, wild rose color. It's like a little bit darker than just a regular pink. I'm just going to take it on an angled Sephora blush brush and just pop that on the apples of the cheeks. And this is the one thing I was like not sure exactly which blush color to use, because you don't want something too pinky, because just since we are trying to kind of mimic mimic the look. Okay, and since we don't really have much other color on the skin, you can put a pretty generous amount of blush on, but just however much you would like to wear. Okay, sorry, my hair is so crazy today. Alrighty, let's go in and do some highlighting now. Again, we're not going to go crazy with this since, obviously in the cartoon, Belle did not have a ton of highlighter on, but we do want to just brighten up the cheeks a little bit, so we're going to just go in with, I have just the e.l.f. Illuminating Palette, highlighting palette. I really need to get a new one. Going with the pink here. I've been kind of debating between a couple different highlighter palettes. If you have one that you particularly like, you know, maybe comment in the box below, because I'm kind of still not sure which one I want to pick up, and I just have had this one and started using it and actually like it, so it just is, it's nice, but it just doesn't absolutely blow me away. Okay, and just take a little bit of the white highlighting powder on the Cupid's bow and just on the tip of the nose, just a little bit. I don't like to do a full nose highlight, just because I have such oily skin. It will turn out to be a little cray-cray in an hour or two. Okay, so for the lashes, I'm actually going to go for really bold lashes. I'm going to use the Smashbox X-Rated Volume Mascara. I kind of like this brush a little better. You can see that it has much like nicer little fine hairs on it. It just makes it a little bit easier to really grab those lashes and pull them up. And as you can see, I have so many of these little samples of things that I'm still trying and using and trying to figure out which one I want to actually commit to. I'm so indecisive. See, that is really nice. It's long, it's not clumpy. Because my Better Than Sex is nice as my second layer, but I feel like I can't wear the Too Faced one by itself, or it's just too strong. It just is too thick and clumpy otherwise. I've completely forgotten about brows, so let's do something with them. Let's just first brush through them with a spoolie. You know, Belle in the cartoon's brows are kind of just actually pretty defined, but just very small and simple. So I am going to go in first with a pencil. I have the JCat Perfect Duo Brow Pencil. This brown is just a little bit too warm for me. I think I need a little bit more of an ashy brown, but once I blend it in, it doesn't, it works. It's just a little bit too, has too much, a little bit of like red undertones instead of gray. I'm just going to go ahead and fill in my brows a little bit with that first. And if you are going to use a pencil instead of like a powder or a tinted gel, just really make sure to use like just very small strokes, especially towards the front of your brow. Even though we are going to blend it out, the shorter the strokes, the more natural it looks. Just because I feel like the color is a teensy bit off, I am going to go back in with my Benefit Gimme Brow that I always use in number 3, just because this is a little bit more of an ashy color and I feel like it just matches a little better. I am going to just go in with kind of a brighter red, at least at first now, just to get something on the lips. This is the Bite Beauty Luminous Creme Lipstick in Mimosa Rouge. I just have a little tiny version because it goes such a long way. I literally haven't even used this up yet. And when you are doing a red lip, you want to make sure to kind of either exfoliate first or kind of even just rub your lips on a washcloth first so that it goes on really nicely, because it will really pick up everything. So as you can see, this is very like tomato red color. So I'm just going to go back, and I'm not even sure if this is going to work over top since it's such a different formula. This is the Trestique mini matte lip crayon in Bordeaux, which is probably exactly kind of the shade of the color I was looking for originally, but I'm just going to layer that on top to kind of make it a little bit more of a wine color. So I'm going to take my hair down quick, even though it's a little bit crazy. This is the completed Belle recreation Belle grown up look. It's a lot of fun to put this together just because I do love Belle so much. She was definitely the princess that I adored, just being like a bookworm and, you know, just kind of being creative and thinking outside of the box and being a little bit more of her own person than some of the other princesses. So I hope you had as much fun as I did putting this together. Definitely, like I said before, comment in the description box of what your favorite Disney princess is, and if you saw the movie and if you loved it as much as I did. Have a great week, everybody. Please like and subscribe.